Have you ever been at a social event, surrounded by people having perfectly pleasant conversations about the weather, weekend plans, or what they watched on TV, and felt like you're suffocating? Not because you're antisocial, but because something about small talk feels deeply draining, almost painful? While most people use small talk as social lubricant, some people experience it as cognitive torture. And here's what research shows: this aversion to small talk is strongly correlated with higher intelligence and deeper cognitive processing styles. This isn't about being rude or thinking you're too good for casual conversation. This is about documented psychological patterns. Studies from personality psychology, neuroscience, and social cognition research all reveal the same thing: highly intelligent people process social interaction differently, and small talk often violates their fundamental communication needs. Today, I'm going to break down the real psychology behind why intelligent people avoid small talk. You'll discover what's happening in your brain during surface-level conversations, why they feel so exhausting rather than energizing, and how to navigate social expectations without forcing yourself into interactions that drain you. This is about self-understanding, not social superiority. This is about honoring how your brain actually works. Let's dive in. Engagement moment: before we start, drop a comment. Does small talk energize you or drain you? Be honest. If this explained why small talk has always felt wrong to you, share it. Comment how you navigate social expectations while honoring your need for depth. Subscribe if you want more content that validates how your brain actually works. In the 1990s, psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron began researching what she termed highly sensitive persons, people with deeper cognitive processing and more active mirror neuron systems. She discovered something fascinating: these individuals didn't just process sensory information more deeply, they processed social information more deeply too. What started as research on sensitivity revealed a broader pattern about intelligence and communication style. This pattern shows up everywhere. In gifted students who struggle with classroom social dynamics. In successful professionals who dread networking events despite understanding their importance. In deep thinkers who can discuss philosophy for hours but can't maintain interest in casual chit-chat for 5 minutes. Understanding this isn't about excusing social awkwardness, it's about recognizing legitimate cognitive differences in communication needs. Here's what happens in your brain during small talk. Your prefrontal cortex, responsible for complex thinking, is massively underutilized while your brain's social processing centers work overtime to manage the interaction. For intelligent people, this creates cognitive dissonance. Your brain is capable of processing complex, multi-layered information, but it's being asked to operate at a fraction of capacity while still expending social energy. Research shows something even more interesting: intelligent individuals have what psychologists call lower social monitoring costs for deep conversations but higher social monitoring costs for superficial ones. Basically, deep conversations come naturally and feel effortless, while small talk requires conscious performance, which is exhausting. This research spans decades, including work on need for cognition by Cacioppo and Petty, studies on conversational depth and satisfaction, and neuroscience research on cognitive engagement. Sources available in the description. Let me break down 5 specific psychological reasons why intelligent people find small talk unbearable. 1. Cognitive underutilization creates mental restlessness. When intelligent people engage in small talk, their brains are operating at a fraction of their capacity, which creates a specific type of discomfort called cognitive underutilization stress. How it works: your brain is a complex processing machine designed to handle intricate information. During small talk, you're using maybe 10 to 15% of your cognitive capacity while the rest sits idle. For intelligent minds, this underutilization doesn't feel restful, it feels suffocating. Real-world examples. Networking events: you're discussing job titles and weather while your brain desperately wants to analyze industry trends, philosophical implications, or innovative solutions. Family gatherings: Relatives ask surface questions about your life while you're internally processing complex thoughts about meaning, purpose, or recent learning. Casual workplace conversations, colleagues discuss weekend activities while your brain is still engaged with the problem you were solving before the interruption. Why you don't notice it in others: people with average cognitive complexity find small talk appropriately stimulating. It engages their brain at a comfortable level. For them, it's not underutilization, it's optimal utilization. Red flags: you're experiencing this. You feel physically agitated during small talk, like you need to escape. Your mind wanders constantly during casual conversations. You feel more exhausted after small talk than after complex discussions. The neuroscience, fMRI studies show that during unstimulating activities, intelligent brains show increased activity in the default mode network, the part that activates when bored. Your brain is literally trying to create its own stimulation because the conversation isn't providing enough. Interactive moment: think about the last casual conversation you had. Were you fully present, or was your brain simultaneously running other processes in the background? 2. Information efficiency makes repetition painful. Intelligent people process information quickly and efficiently, which means they become cognitively done with small talk topics almost immediately. The 4 stages. Stage 1, rapid processing: someone mentions the weather. Your brain instantly processes this information, recognizes it as objective fact requiring no analysis, and marks it as complete. Stage 2, pattern recognition: your brain recognizes this as a social script, not genuine information exchange. It's performance, not communication. Stage 3, cognitive completion: within 30 seconds, your brain has exhausted any possible interest in the topic and is ready to move on. Stage 4, forced continuation: but the conversation continues for another 5 to 10 minutes covering the same empty ground, creating increasing mental anguish. Why it's so draining: research on cognitive efficiency shows that intelligent people need less repetition and elaboration to fully process information. What takes others 10 minutes of discussion to fully engage with, you've completely processed in 30 seconds. Recognition exercise. If you frequently think, "Okay, I got it, can we move on now," within the first minute of conversations, you're experiencing rapid information saturation. The frustration: you can't skip ahead because social norms require you to participate in the full ritual, even though your brain finished processing minutes ago. 3. Depth orientation versus breadth orientation. Psychological research identifies 2 conversational orientations. Breadth-oriented people enjoy covering many light topics, while depth-oriented people prefer exploring fewer topics thoroughly. Intelligence strongly correlates with depth orientation. What it means: your brain doesn't want to skim the surface of 20 topics. It wants to dive deep into 2 topics. Small talk is structurally designed for breadth, which violates your fundamental communication needs. Why normal socializing feels wrong. Small talk jumps between topics every 2 to 3 minutes just when your brain is getting interested. The implicit rules prevent going too deep on any single subject. You're expected to keep things light when your brain craves weight. Depth is often seen as too serious or socially inappropriate. The psychology behind it: studies on need for cognition show that intelligent people derive pleasure from effortful thinking. Small talk provides no opportunity for effortful thinking, so it provides no cognitive reward. It's like offering sugar-free, taste-free candy, technically food, but provides zero satisfaction. Instant recognition: if you light up when conversations shift from "what do you do" to "what do you think about" complex topic, you're depth-oriented. Real-world impact: this creates social friction because breadth-oriented people think you're being difficult when you try to go deeper. They're satisfied with surface-level coverage. You're starving for substance. 4. Authenticity gap creates emotional dissonance. Intelligent people often have a low tolerance for social performance, and small talk is fundamentally performative rather than authentic. What happens: Small talk requires you to ask questions you don't care about the answers to. Share information you don't think is interesting or relevant. Pretend enthusiasm for topics that bore you. Follow social scripts rather than genuine curiosity. Examples across contexts. Social events, how are you? Fine, you. Neither person is actually sharing their real state. Professional settings, busy week. Yeah, pretty busy. Empty exchanges that communicate nothing meaningful. Casual encounters, nice weather today. Sure is. Stating obvious shared observations. Key insight, for intelligent people, this performance feels dishonest. Not because they want to be rude, but because their brains crave authentic information exchange. The gap between performing and being genuine creates emotional dissonance. Why it matters. Research on authenticity and well-being shows that people who regularly engage in inauthentic communication experience increased stress and decreased life satisfaction. For intelligent people forced into frequent small talk, this compounds over time. The devastating part, society interprets your discomfort with performance as social incompetence, when actually it's a preference for genuine communication. 5. High opportunity cost awareness. Intelligent people are often acutely aware of opportunity costs. When you're making small talk, you're not doing something more valuable with that time and mental energy. How it manifests. During small talk, you're mentally calculating what else you could be learning, creating, or discussing. Every minute of surface conversation feels like a minute stolen from meaningful engagement. You feel the weight of finite time and energy being spent on empty exchanges. The gap between potential and actual value of the interaction is painful. Why normal socializing feels like punishment. Most people don't experience this awareness. They live in the moment without calculating opportunity costs. But your brain can't help but run a background process. This conversation is providing minimal value. I could be reading, thinking, learning, creating, having meaningful dialogue. Recognition pattern. If you regularly check your watch during small talk or feel relief when it ends, you're experiencing high opportunity cost awareness. Research basis. Studies on conscientiousness and future orientation show that intelligent people are more aware of time value and resource allocation. This makes low-value activities psychologically costly. The trap. Social connection is valuable, but small talk often doesn't create actual connection, it just performs the appearance of it. Your brain recognizes this distinction, which makes the opportunity cost feel even steeper. So if you're someone whose intelligence makes small talk unbearable, how do you navigate social expectations without forcing yourself through torture? Strategy 1. Redirect, don't reject. What it is, instead of avoiding small talk entirely, which creates social friction, learn to redirect conversations from surface to substance smoothly. How to implement. Start with the expected small talk ritual, 2 to 3 exchanges maximum. Use transition questions that invite depth. That's interesting, what made you choose that, or how do you think about related deeper topic. If they stay surface, accept it and politely minimize interaction. If they engage deeper, you've found a worthwhile conversation. Why it works. You're honoring social expectations while testing for depth potential. You're not rejecting people, you're offering them the option of meaningful dialogue. Real-world application. Someone asks about your weekend. Instead of just describing activities, mention what you learned or thought about during those activities. See if they engage with the deeper layer or just nod politely. Timeline. Within 2 to 3 weeks of practicing this, you'll get better at quickly identifying who can engage at depth and who prefers surface interaction. Strategy 2. Choose environments optimized for depth. The principle. Stop forcing yourself into environments structurally designed for breadth when you need depth. Implementation examples. Replace large parties with small dinner parties. 2 to 4 people enable deeper conversation. Choose activity-based socializing where the activity provides substance, hiking with meaningful conversation, book clubs, learning groups. Seek professional environments that attract deep thinkers, intellectual communities, specialized conferences. Use one-on-one meetings instead of group socializing when possible. Common mistake, thinking you're antisocial when actually you're just environment incompatible. You might be highly social in the right settings. Success indicator, you should leave social situations feeling energized or satisfied at least 50% of the time. If it's less than that, you're in the wrong environments. Why this matters, your aversion isn't to people, it's to superficial interaction. Find environments where depth is normal, and your social difficulty often disappears. Strategy 3, be honest about your communication style. Quick protection, stop pretending you enjoy small talk. You can be polite while being authentic. Long-term skill, develop language to express your needs without sounding arrogant. I'm not great at casual chat, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on substantial topic. Small talk isn't my strength, want to grab coffee and have a real conversation instead. I tend to go deep pretty quickly in conversations, is that okay with you? Why this works, many people are relieved when someone else initiates depth. You're not the only one who finds small talk empty. By being honest, you give others permission to drop the performance too. Resource recommendation, read Quiet by Susan Cain for validation of different communication styles. Join communities like Mensa or intellectual discussion groups where your style is the norm. Implementation, next time someone initiates small talk, politely acknowledge it, then say, actually, I'm curious about meaningful question. See how they respond. Strategy 4, accept that some social small talk is transactional. What it requires, recognizing that not all interaction needs to be deeply satisfying, some is just social maintenance. Why this perspective helps, sometimes small talk is like brushing your teeth. Not enjoyable, but necessary for social hygiene. Brief exchanges with neighbors, colleagues, service workers, these aren't meant to be fulfilling. They're meant to maintain basic social fabric. Implementation. Limit transactional small talk to 2 to 3 minutes maximum. View it as a brief social tax, not a relationship requirement. Don't expect depth from every interaction. Save your energy for relationships where depth is possible. Timeline, this mindset shift usually reduces small talk frustration within weeks. When you stop expecting depth from transactional exchanges, they become less painful. Important reminder, this doesn't mean being dismissive, it means being realistic about what different types of social interaction can provide. The bigger picture. Understanding why you avoid small talk isn't about justifying rudeness or isolation. It's about recognizing that communication styles are diverse, and intelligence creates specific needs that standard social interactions don't accommodate. You're not broken. You're not antisocial. You're not too picky. You're someone whose brain requires substance in communication the way it requires nutrients in food. Light conversation doesn't nourish you. It's empty calories. And you can't force yourself to feel satisfied by it any more than you can force yourself to feel full eating air. But here's what matters, society is built on small talk. It's how most people create comfort, test compatibility, and establish baseline rapport. Your aversion to it can create real social costs if you're not strategic about navigating it. Practical wisdom, 3 principles. 1. Small talk is a filter, not the destination. View initial small talk as a filtering mechanism. It helps you identify who might be capable of depth. Pass through it quickly to test for deeper potential. 2. Depth needs are valid, not superior. Needing substantial conversation doesn't make you better than people who enjoy light chat. It makes you different. Both styles have value. 3. Strategic engagement beats total avoidance. Completely avoiding small talk creates social isolation. Strategic engagement minimum required for social maintenance, Maximum effort toward depth creates sustainable social life. Empowerment message. If you've spent years feeling like there's something wrong with you because you can't enjoy casual conversation, hear this: your need for depth isn't a defect. It's not snobbery. It's not social incompetence. It's your brain telling you that surface level exchange doesn't provide the cognitive and emotional nutrition you require. And just like someone who needs substantial meals can't be satisfied with constant snacking, you can't be satisfied with constant small talk. This doesn't make you better or worse than others. It makes you someone who needs a different communication diet. And there's nothing wrong with that. Call to growth. The question isn't how to learn to love small talk. The question is, how do you build a social life that provides the depth you need while still navigating the social expectations of the world you live in? Are you willing to be strategically selective about social engagement? To redirect conversations toward substance? To seek environments where depth is normal? To be honest about your communication needs? Because you can spend your life forcing yourself through painful small talk and wondering why you feel so drained and disconnected. Or you can accept how your brain works and design a social life that actually nourishes you. So the next time someone tells you to just be friendly or stop being so serious, understand what they're really saying. They're operating from their communication needs and projecting them onto yours. They genuinely can't imagine what it's like to have a brain that finds depth effortless but surface level chat exhausting. Your aversion to small talk isn't rudeness. It's not antisocial behavior. It's your brain protecting its energy for interactions that actually provide value. And the smartest thing you can do is stop apologizing for it and start designing a social life around it. The world needs people who demand substance in communication. That's where real ideas are exchanged. That's where genuine understanding happens. That's where meaningful connections form. So maybe your impatience with small talk isn't the problem. Maybe it's pointing you toward the kinds of conversations and connections you're actually built for. If this explained why small talk has always felt wrong to you, share it. Comment how you navigate social expectations while honoring your need for depth. Subscribe if you want more content that validates how your brain actually works. Remember, you're not antisocial. You're not difficult. You're not too serious. You just need what you need. And substance over superficiality is a valid need.